I'm Al, the punk rock farmer, and we're gonna go through my garden and my backyard. My dad moved into this house in the early '90s, so this has been our house from the early '90s, and I've been on the radio for the last 5 years. And how I'm tied in with Wasatch Community Gardens is that I advocate everything that's going on in the urban farm community, sustainability, eating local. I'm on the radio doing that every Friday for the Urban Farm Report, and I've had a lot of interaction with Wasatch Community Gardens because of all the great work they do in our Agrihood. And so this, like I said, this house, I've been living here since the early '90s. My dad planted all these trees. He planted these fruit trees, this pear tree, this plum tree, Italian plum. We're Italian, so there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that here. There's a pepper patch on this side, and then my hoop house, and we'll just kind of go through and do an overview right now. And we'll come this way. You want to come this way? So this is the first section of garden that my dad first tilled this spot and built this little split rail fence, and you can see it's been here a long time. It has this one rail that's kind of fallen down, and I kind of think it's cool that a little imperfection isn't so bad, because this garden isn't perfect, but we do grow a lot of food here. Shall we go in and look and see some of the varieties and things that I really like to grow? My favorite tomatoes for growing and making sauce, these are abruzzese. They get this big. They get very big, and they're very shapely tomato. They make the best sauce. They peel very easily. They blanch and peel. They're just wonderful to cook with and make sauce out of, gravy as we call it in Italian. There's 30 tomato plants here and about 11 different varieties. Every year I try a couple of different ones. And then nice grapevine back here. It's a white Niagara grape, and I make some wine out of those. There was cabbage growing here, already gone. There's a row of yellow beets right here. The chard is doing really good. So this chard is doing obviously pretty well, very big. Love chard. It's an Italian thing, so Italians, they do these with olive oil, garlic, and cracked red pepper. That's all you put, a little salt, and then you steam them down a little bit. First start them in the olive oil, and then you pour a little water in there and put the cover on and let them steam and get tender, because obviously that's quite the shock, because this has done really well. I'm very proud of this one. So this is one of the real prizes of my yard and my garden. This is my fig tree, and if you look at it, it's obviously a tree. It's very stout. It has a north, south, east, and west branch. It was pruned that way off of a whip. I put a box around this. You can see the one piece of insulation there in the corner. It has 4 pieces of insulation, 2 more sides and a top go on it in the winter. I cut it right here at about eye level. Cut it right here, and it grows back with all this growth. There's no dead loss on it. It's a Chicago hardy variety. In good years, which last year wasn't quite a good year, we've gotten 300 figs off of this tree and made a lot of fig, rosemary, and red wine jam. Boy, oh boy, that's some good stuff. And so this tree's been growing here for nine years. This is the 9th season. It started as a whip from Western Gardens. The 3rd year it died back to the ground, and it grew into a bush. And I saved the strongest whip in the middle, and that's the trunk that's on this one right now. So this actual tree, the way it's formed right now, is about 7 years. Even though it was planted back in 2010. And there's fig bushes all around the city, but there's not many fig trees. And so this is a tree, baby, and I'm really, really proud of this sucker. So this is a 30-gallon food grade barrel, and this is Plum Wine from the tree right back here. This is last year's wine. It's been sitting here in this and fermented since last fall, and when the when the plums were ripe last year. An Italian plum, obviously it's Italian plum wine, and I think it's pretty darn good. It's a little sweet and it's got a little bit of a kick to it. It's good stuff. This is the new section of the garden. This is where I'm responsible for. I needed more room because I really love eggplant and I really love hot peppers. I have a friend that's down in Peru, and about more than half of these varieties, there's 50 plants here. These are my eggplants, and there's about 6 varieties different and 20 plants here of those. But on this other side, there's about 50 plants, and a good 50% of them or more are from the Amazon and from Peru. They're little small ones like a tapin, or that most people are familiar with from the Yucatan, but these are from South America, and they believe that the mother of all peppers came from South America and spread into the 500 varieties of peppers that are all over the world right here today. So I think propagating this rainforest pepper seed is really, some people might think it's kind of crazy, but some of these plants actually do really well here. In the back, all the way in the back, you can see the hoop house, which extends the season. There's some squash planted there right now. We'll be planting some cold weather plants along the edge here. So some of these varieties, like I said, are very close to the mother of all peppers. And this one right here is called Arabi. And it's very, very close to the mother of all peppers. They believe that this one is like a really, really close relative. This plant grows really well here. A rainforest plant that grows really well. This is the 3rd year of seed propagation here, and obviously these are turning red already, so we are definitely going to have a good amount of seed. I won't eat these, but they are really great flavor. Not the hottest pepper, not like maybe like a serrano, somewhere around in there, but the flavor on these is amazing. They make a certain salsas out of these with signature flavor, cultural dishes in Peru and things like that. But my goal is to grow these 7 years here in Utah and then introduce this seed from these plants right here into the regional seed bank, because then they will grow just as well here, if not better, than in the Amazon. So that's an ongoing experiment that gardening can take on these things. Propagating seed is one of my favorite things, and seed swaps. Go to the Ogden Seed Swap. Boy, it's in February, but it's definitely a high point of the year. So thanks for coming along. It was really exciting to be a part of the Urban Garden and Farm Tour this year. It's virtual, obviously, because of the situation and the uncertain times, but I hope you enjoyed seeing my garden and hearing a little bit about some of the stories and some of the history and heritage behind the things that I grow, and the way you should be eating local, and everybody should be getting out there and growing their own food. I'm on KRCL. Every Friday at 6 p.m. we do a urban farm report, and it's true tales from our Agrihood right here in Salt Lake. Very punk rock again, that you're growing food in urban city limits. How punk is that? There you go.